Okay. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
No,
there we go.
Wait,
that was good.
That was good?
That was good.
Man, that sounded like I was way early.
No, you were good there.
You're 3 hours ahead of me, remember?
Okay, excellent. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Dicey D20. It's your boy, the DM, and Prymak,
Noah,
as I go by on many of my gaming channels, but just kidding. My name is Noah, and we got our players here. Our Bright Lord.
Hello.
Exciting. I love it.
It's been a while.
Yeah, fair enough. We have Fievel Mousentrouve.
Fievel's back. Ready to go.
Back. The fan favorite, believe it or not. Recent Pew polls suggest
me too.
Fievel is the favorite of the fans, and then the least favorite, Tyson McKay. Just kidding.
Shit.
It's the violence. People love violence. Just start strangling people.
Did you not watch the last episode? I was extremely violent.
Okay.
I had to rile everyone up, though.
Yeah,
that's true.
Fair enough. Ladies and gentlemen, some really cool stuff going on in the Dicey D20 multiverse, in our lore, in our social media as well. We had a recent t-shirt giveaway, so congrats to @ScottDowd28, @DTracyMartin, and @Sven Gradolny.
Wow. Good pronunciation.
Thank you. I tried really hard, man. I read that like 4 times prior to the pod. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, we had an awesome t-shirt giveaway. Everyone got to pick their colors, pick their sizes. Those shirts are in the mail, on the way. If not, our guys are still in touch with you, and we are figuring out shipping and all that kind of fun stuff. So, ladies and gentlemen,
touch them.
What is the website again where we do the t-shirts? It's T something?
tpublic.com.
Nice, yeah. So that's the website, ladies and gentlemen. You can head there, pick out cool t-shirts, crew necks, hoodies. We even have pillows and mugs. Whoa. Just start your day with the Dicey D20 podcast, a little bit of coffee in that mug. Just start your day off right. But we are hopping back in to our World of Norian. Last we left off, a little bit of a recap for our listeners. The prisoners are freed, miraculously.
Finally.
Tyson McKay can finally claim to be a freed slave.
Woo! Halfway through the season.
For now.
Finally got my title.
Yeah, exactly. The Bright Lord did not help at all.
He was there.
I just want to throw that out there. No, he watched.
I watched, yeah.
Yeah.
He just didn't want to harm anyone. You know, Bright Lord stuff.
I think he wanted to pick the winning side, to be honest. Well, if I play my cards right and the frogs win, I can stay here and eat slugs forever.
You're right.
The prisoner humans and the Lizardfolk ran towards the mangroves, the wooded areas of the swamp, towards the Lizardfolk encampment. Currently, our Bright Lord is standing kind of off to the side on the steps of the wooden podium where Vox has his throne. Okay, there's a bunch of dead bullywugs in and around the main mud area that's used for.
Welcome. That was all me.
I don't know if it was all you. I mean, it was a team effort, right? So there's a bunch of dead bullywugs, stumps overturned, the tables and food kind of sprayed everywhere, okay? Drunken, passed out, dead bullywugs just left, right, and center. Vox stands there. Sword kind of... He looks kind of sad, to be honest. I mean, you know, he's a king. This is his realm. His sword's kind of hanging at his side. He looks a little bit defeated. He kind of like croaks slowly and looks... And then as he looks at the large lizardfolk Vanta... And then he looks to the Fievel Mousentrouve, who he just saw jump off of a cage and trident someone in the chest, blood splattered everywhere. It looks like a scene from Dexter. And then Tyson McKay, whose eyes are fiery red, he's still flames kind of like swirling around his fingertips. The guy looks like if he could shit his pants, he would. But
damn right I did.
I'll let him before I strangle him.
Take your time, Vox. So Vox stands on the podium. He looks around and then kind of begins to like stutter and speaks in bullywug. He says, please, take whatever you want.
Rogar, grab him.
I go and grab him.
Do you know his name?
I know Rogar's name, yeah.
Oh,
We've been together for like 8 sessions now.
I'm the newbie.
We've been chained up since episode 1.
Shit, yeah, no, I forgot. Yeah, I forgot all about that.
No, it was only last week.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug. No, but, okay, so you say Rogar grab him.
Yes.
To which Rogar does or responds.
Do you have to roll for that?
Yeah, it'd be a grapple check.
Well, speaking's a free action. If you want to do anything else, you would have to roll.
You can say yes or no, and then either grab him or not.
That's like, if you want to live, you're going to be coming with us, but if not, then sorry, it'll have to end this way.
Oh God.
What about the slugs he fed you?
Okay,
They weren't good.
So Vox looks to the Bright Lord, and then just kind of his hand slips. He drops his ceremonial scimitar, that really cool jewel-encrusted, golden-hilted blade.
Dibs.
And he puts his hands up and he says, "Whatever you want." But it just sounds like croaks and ribbits to you, Bright Lord. The only one who actually understands right now is Tyson McKay.
He says he's gonna kill you.
They're escaping. No, they're not. No, they really are escaping. He's lying.
Well, I know.
I do actually yell that at you too, by the way.
What?
I yell he's gonna kill you.
Oh, well, he has no sword in his hand.
That would be the intelligent thing to think about, yes.
Yeah. So, I'm just gonna kind of look at Tyson and say, like, he has no weapons in his hand, like, how's he gonna kill me?
Look at those slimy hands. Shove them right down your throat.
Yeah, I leave this in Tyson McKay's court. I really don't know where you think it's going to go from here, but
He said he's gonna strangle you with his tongue.
that would be a weird thing to do.
You saw how he ate those slugs.
Yeah, he just...
Anyways,
Yeah.
I just grab him and, like, secure him so he can't do anything since I'm getting
Throw him
a
on the
bunch of,
ground.
like, threat notes.
Step on him.
Okay, so hands behind his back. Are you kind of putting him on his knees? Or are you throwing him off the podium? Or are you just kind of
Yeah.
like holding him hands behind his back?
Sparta kick him.
On his knees, yeah.
Okay,
'Cause,
so
you know, he made us kneel before him, so I'm gonna make him kneel before
Yeah,
us.
kick his knees out.
yeah, okay. So are you gonna kick the back of his leg?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So you kick the back of his leg. I'm not gonna make you roll. It's pretty simple. You got him grappled. You got his hands behind his back. Bullywug women, children, and some of the elder men, and those who aren't, even though some of them are super intoxicated still from the crazy party that went on, some of them are not, and they all start to come out and they stand in between the small spaces between their wattle and daub huts, and they kind of watch with big, wide frog eyes as their leader gets put to his knees.
Oh.
Okay, he
Tell them
says,
to scatter before they die.
he says, I will give you anything you want, please.
Can I step up onto the podium?
You may.
All right, I do so.
Excellent.
And then, so like the bullywugs are gathered around us, correct?
Well, these aren't fighters. These aren't soldiers. And if any of them are, their weapons are kind of like hanging at their sides. You've taken the king, and
Yeah.
they're not gonna make any moves against you guys. They see all the dead bullywugs, blood and mud, just intermingled together on the ground. They don't really want any part of this.
So they're just kind of watching us right now.
They're watching the spectacle. You know, it's traditional within, and this isn't something that you guys would know, but something maybe cool for the listeners to know. Bullywugs are not your typical. They don't overthrow by means of force. When a bullywug who is the leader has a bunch of wealth and has done pretty well for the tribe, he is well liked. But sometimes there are bullywugs who want that power. They won't just outright challenge him. They won't just go ahead and kill him either, because that's considered to be dishonorable. Not that they believe in honor, but for them it's not kosher. So what they end up doing is they'll subvertly take power. They'll frame him for something, or they'll send the party out to get slaves, and they'll stab him in the back, and then they'll make it look like someone else did it. They're very sneaky motherfuckers. So these guys are just watching, waiting. You see a couple of them looking around, like shifting their eyes to the other bullywugs in the camp. Already they're thinking about who's becoming the bullywug king next.
Okay.
Sit on the throne.
I am your king now. Too long have the most folk been downtrodden.
No. I look out among the bullywug people. I turn back to Vox. I say, blah, 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 blah. And roughly that translates to, you have to take your people away from here and never come back if you want to live.
Okay, so Vox looks to you and says, You will let me live?
No. That wasn't part of the deal.
Fievel, were you promised to kill him or just free the slaves?
Just free the slaves.
Okay.
He's an obstruction, though, and that might trigger me.
Triggered.
What doesn't trigger you?
So I tell him we'll let him live if he takes his people away from here.
He says, but if we go to the north, there are hobgoblins. And far to the east, there are far worse things in the swamp. This is our home.
I grab him by the scruff of his neck And I say...
It's flabby and moist, but sure.
Nice.
Good.
I say, it's moist, Fievel.
I nod. Actually, no. I don't assume I know, because I did strangle...
I don't actually know your name either, so...
You don't.
So I grab the scruff of his neck, and I say, leave now, or you won't be able to leave.
But beforehand, can we grab our treasure back?
Okay, so Vox looks to you and says, "Of course, I will leave. Just let me pack my things," he says, "and I will go."
No, now!
But how do you expect me to survive without my items? My people must get their personal possessions. And he begins to cough and splutter a little bit. He seems a little nervous. He says, "I also need my personal effects."
That's not my problem. Blah 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 blah.
Please, just give me 5 minutes.
You have 2.
Okay, so he waits for the Bright Lord to release him so that he can stand.
Which I do.
Okay.
Right, I nod to him and tell him to release.
But I'd like
so the
to
Bright
have
Lord
my
releases him.
100 gold back.
Vox then stands, and in Bullywug, he yells at a couple of the stronger men. He says, "Come, quick, grab my personal items."
So I say, you have 2 minutes to get ready.
Okay. He looks at 2 of the stronger Bullywug males.
I'd like to grab my 100 gold that I gave, that he took away from me.
Okay. Where are you looking for that? Or are you asking for it, or what's going on?
Yeah, I'm gonna ask him for it. I'm assuming it's in his big treasure box.
You want me to translate for you?
So Vox looks back to you as Tyson McKay translates.
I do.
And Vox says, Oh, where did all my gold go? Oh my god, I think during the fight someone stole it.
I'm doing insight check. 17.
Ooh, nice. You beat him. So,
Nice.
you think he's lying, man. You think no one took the gold. You think he's trying to worm his way out with his winnings.
I say, I don't buy it, Vox. Where's
Okay.
your gold? We'll only take what was taken from us, no more.
He says, okay, just what we took from you. Okay, I agree, he says. 2 men come out of his hut with a cart, which has wooden wheels, and they are carrying 3 large chests. He walks over to them. You guys are all still standing on the podium. He opens one of the chests. You guys can't see what's inside because, he opens it, and he's looking kind of at you guys greedily. You hear coins shuffling around in a rapid patter, and then he waddles over and tosses down the bag of 100 gold pieces that he took from our Bright Lord.
I pick it up and keep it.
All right. I say, hurry on your way now.
He says, "Oh, thank you so much. You are so kind, so honorable." He says, "Now let's go." So people, bullywugs, I should say, grabbing their personal effects, begin to march off into the distance. They are heading northeast.
Mark that down, boys.
Yeah.
Just in case you want to hunt him down. Okay. So, you guys stand now in the deserted remains of the Bullywug camp. Tents kind of falling over, houses broken, in shambles, lots of dead bullywugs all around, and a small treasure, or fortune, is currently wheeling its way across the swamp away from you guys. So, that's Gucci. I like how honorable you guys, my other crews would have demolished that.
Listen, Tyson McKay is chaotic, but he's also chaotic good.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah, don't steal from the murderous bullywugs.
They weren't killing anyone, necessarily.
No,
they were just enslaving them.
Yeah, that's better.
They fed them.
They saved us, too. They did save us from the hobgoblins, so...
Well, they saved you to enslave you.
Yeah, I like them better than the hobgoblins. They didn't kill my mom, so...
It's not but a few minutes later as you guys kind of stand looking at each other. Obviously, Tyson McKay and the Bright Lord have some history together, being fellow prisoners on the road. Fievel also there. Now it's free player interaction. If you guys want to have some conversations, you're definitely welcome to do so. If you want to introduce yourselves, go for it. I leave it totally up to you guys.
I say, Mouse Man.
I'm... Okay. I don't respond to that.
No, you just look away?
No. I turn around and I walk towards Jack Bauer and I mount him.
Oh boy.
Mouse Man. Mouse Man who's on the toad.
Mouse boy?
What do you want?
What is your name?
That's none of your business.
Ooh, mysterious.
I just wanted to thank you for the help.
It's not a problem at all. Like I said, I wasn't here for you.
Ooh.
I was here for the Lizardfolk.
Oh.
And now I must return.
Why would a mouse man be helping lizard folks?
I don't have time for this. I have a lady to check up on.
Okay.
Okay, so the reason why you didn't hear this before is because it's mud, and you would usually hear the sound of horse hooves on stone or even dirt or roads, anything like that. However, you did not hear, nor did you see, in the early hours of the morning, 3 horses riding towards the Bullywug camp, and they come and approach behind Jack Bauer and behind your boy Fievel, and when he says, I have a lady to go see, one of them says, not so quick there, mouse.
Oh boy.
Alright, so they're behind Jack Bauer?
Correct. They're about 20 feet behind you. 3 knights, clad all in heavy metal armor, very medieval-like. They ride on 3 different horses, one of them on a horse that is nearly entirely black, with wisps of gray and white in its mane. He is kind of out front of this 3-person triangle. I guess that would be a triangle. Yeah, 3 points triangle.
Yes,
awesome.
That's correct.
Thank you very much. And then to his right, a knight sits atop a horse that is brown and white, and on the left, a mottled gray horse. The riders, all clad in this medieval armor, have banners and colors of their armor, which is white and blue. They're heavily armed. This you can tell just by looking at them. Long swords, short swords, spears. They seem to be decked out. The one man removes his helm. It reveals an olive-toned skin with black hair that's cut short. It looks like just a purely functional haircut. He's not winning any beauty contests. Not that he's bad looking, in case any of you guys are interested. He has quite the scar over his right eye. It does not impact his vision. It just kind of hits at the brow and then follows through on the cheek. It's nearly white. He has some scruff on his face, not a long beard, more short, almost goatee-like, but it's more filled in along the chin. And his armor is kind of adorned with a couple furs. So as he removes his helmet, he says, "You don't mind if we talk for a minute, do you?"
It depends. What are we talking about?
Well, so long as we have such hospitable surroundings, I suppose we take a seat and have a little chat.
Sure, welcome to our village.
Roll me a fucking deception check.
Oh boy. 6.
Oh, this is your village, he says.
We haven't signed the lease or anything yet, but the old tenant has moved out, so...
Oh yes, I was familiar with the old tenant, actually. A slimy frog by the name of Vox.
That
Tell
is
me,
correct.
Do you know where I could find him?
He went that way.
Which way are you pointing?
I point southeast.
Oh my god.
Oh god.
So towards the trees,
Yes.
a few kilometers away.
Yes.
He looks that way, and then he looks off. He kind of takes a deep breath and smells, and he says, "A recent fight, boys. And maybe even a little bit of a party beforehand. Well, it looks like we certainly missed some fun."
It's a good nose on you, sir.
Yes, I pride myself on my nose.
All right.
No, but he looks and he says, "So you're telling me Vox and his bullywugs headed into the mangroves?"
They were pretty drunk.
I do believe that. But even dumb drunk, no frog would head towards the mangroves. It's suicide.
All right, sir. I must ask. Why do you need to know?
Why do I need to know? Well, I suppose it'd be rude if I didn't introduce myself. My name is Orin. Orin of the Knights of the New Moon. My brothers here and I are stationed at Ryberry, and there's been a string of kidnappings. Naturally, we looked for hobgoblins, and everyone knows the bullywugs are no strangers to imprisonment and slavery.
Well, I can fill you in on 2 of those things. So 2 for 2, buddy.
I actually know a fair amount about slavery. I've been enslaved my whole life.
This is my first 2 minutes free, actually, and it's not looking good with you guys.
Are you saying we take slaves?
I don't know. I don't trust anyone at this moment.
Well, if there was anyone you could trust, it would be the Knights of the New Moon, my friend. We have no quarrel with any being that has no quarrel with us. We stand for all that's just and right in this rotten, forsaken world.
Ooh.
These guys sound like my group.
Yeah, they
of
sound like
knights.
your kind of boys.
Yeah.
I say very well. What do you need with... So you're searching for Vox to see if they have slaves?
He slips off his horse, as do his 2 companions, and he walks towards the podium, which he leans against and fiddles with the hilt of his sword. Disappearances back in Ryberry are unseen, Never before have we seen such death, if you can call it that. Entire families disappeared. The crops go untended. Some lay dead in the streets, imprisonments or perhaps kidnappings gone wrong, we're not sure. But no one has any idea. I was able to speak with a hobgoblin emissary of Creold's band in the north, and no luck there. Hobgoblins tend to claim responsibility for these kind of things. Bullywugs are a little bit more, well, subtle, I guess you could say, and isolated in their swamps, so we figured we'd head here. But it is just the three of us.
Well, I can promise you that Vox did not have the slaves that you were looking for, I guess, because there wasn't that many of us, and the ones that they did have were from my village and lizard folks.
Lizard folk? They're not slave takers, are they?
Not that I'm aware of, but I think your boy Fievel here would know more about that.
You don't know me.
Oh, I mean, I think the mouse folk would know more about that.
As far as I know, I've been among these other beings for a little time now, and they're a peaceful culture such as my own, and I did not see any enslavement of any kind. And if there was, I mean, it would have been pretty hard of them to, I guess, hide that sort of thing. The village isn't that big.
If it's all the same to you, mouse folk, I'd like to accompany you back to this village, just to clear their names, and if anything, maybe find out what they know about these disappearances.
Before entering their village, I would definitely have to ask their leader. I can't just let some people come in. I hardly know you guys. It could all be an act that you guys are some knights. Maybe some mercenaries out to kill lizard folk. I don't know.
Well, I suppose that's fair. Not wise to trust every soul you meet on the road. But you have my word that we are knights of the new moon. And in this world, we stand for all that is good. So you can do an insight check if you like and see if you believe him.
Let's do it. 6.
It's a 9.
Oh, a 9. 3, so it's a 12.
To the best of your insight ability, he seems to be telling the truth.
Yeah, it seems pretty clean.
Bright Lord, what do you think about these guys?
I trust them. They seem pretty respectful. Finding their people, I trust.
Most respectful guy I've seen in months.
Yeah.
Fair. Yeah, no, this is actually uncommonly pleasant for your group.
Except for that old man. He was kind, and I loved him.
Yeah.
He sure know how to shake those shackles, I tell ya.
You just gotta shake them.
just shake him around. So Orin gestures to the right, towards a more slender-built knight who removes his helmet. He says, "This is Luthien, son of Amos, and he is my apprentice." And to my left, this is Lothian. Lothian, one of the greatest dual wielders I've ever met. Deadly in combat.
Nice to meet you guys. If, per se, you were to follow me back to the camp, I would ask that you guys go ahead of Jack Bauer here, and I will trail behind you.
What if we stayed at camp with them here? It's only... how far away is it?
It's not too far.
Well, we could stay at camp here and rest up, and you can go and talk to the leader of the lizard folk and make sure it's okay before we come in.
Seems...
I guess if we're invited as well.
Yeah.
Seems like a good plan, fireman.
My name is Tyson. Tyson McKay.
I didn't ask. Fireman.
I just told you, okay?
Calls him fireman.
Well, I will be off to go talk with the leader, and I will return with his final decision.
Very well, Mouse Man.
We will ride behind you and wait at the edge of the mangroves.
Wait, I thought we were camping out here with them.
He says, well, how long will it take for him to go search and go get the say-so from the lizard folk? This camp can be ambushed from many different angles. And if it's all the same with you, I'd like to know where I'm riding to.
We could also do this, like, while the 2 other knights stay with us, and then the leader goes with Justin.
True, we could stay with the 2 knights, and then the leader could ride in with just Fievel.
So Orin looks to Fievel and says, what do you think, Mouse?
Yeah, I can go with that, and if anything goes south, I'm sure we have enough to kill you, or I'll do it myself.
So, Orin, let's roll to see how he reacts to that, actually. Ooh, pretty well. He looks to you and kind of grins. His teeth are actually pretty immaculate. Looks to be in pretty good shape. Not your typical medieval Norian toothy gape. Yeah. He looks to you, grins, and says, Oh, I'm sure you put up a fight quite nicely.
Oh God, pervert.
So he mounts his horse, and steed. He looks to Luthien and Lothian and says, "Boys, take care while I'm gone."
I say, let's start a fire, and then I wink at the Bright Lord.
So
I wink back.
Oren begins to trot off towards the mangroves. I suppose, Fievel, you're on your way as well?
I am croaking on over. As,
Excellent.
Yes.
The ride back does not take too long. Jack Bauer's size has increased, ladies and gentlemen. He is huge now, not just large. So his fat ass is trying to slip through some pretty narrow spaces. He's like a very, very large lady trying to fit into spandex. And it's just, there's ripples that are flowing over top of the spandex. It's like the worst of Walmart. I don't know if you guys ever watched those videos on YouTube, the worst of Walmart. Yeah, it's basically all that just packaged into one giant fat toad.
Tyson doesn't know what this Walmart is.
Yeah.
Okay,
Can I roll to understand this, Walmart?
No, you cannot. But it takes no more than a half an hour of trudging through the mangroves. Actually, a little bit longer because, your toad's pretty fucking fat. Let's go with 45 minutes. I think that's fair.
Yeah, there we go.
Mm-hmm. At some points, you got to get off and push, like an old Cadillac. And you make it
So deal.
to the outskirts of the Lizardfolk village. What would you like to do?
I look to him and I say, wait here. I'll be back.
He looks
And
around and he says, "Where are the people?"
Around.
He looks around and he says, "Well, either they're very fucking good at hiding, or they're gone."
Do a perception check, see if
I will. I'm going to do a perception check.
Go for it.
That is a nat 20.
Holy shit.
Your ultra-perceptive mouse eyes see that there is in fact no one here. The Lizardfolk village is completely cleared out, and there are signs of struggles. Black
God.
arrows pierce out of vegetation and vines that grow on top of this ancient temple ruins, and there are a few dead lizard folk in the walkways between these large temple ruins.
Arda!
Okay, I disembark from Jack Bauer and I kind of like rush over to where Arda was.
Okay, Oren quickly dismounts, unsheathing, I should say, a great longsword. When I say
turn around and
great
say,
longsword,
"Ooh."
I don't mean, I don't mean it's it's just a really cool longsword. It's a longsword, but it looks great. And he looks to you, and sorry, you looked at him and said what?
I didn't say anything.
I thought you said I turn around and say ooh.
that's exactly what he said.
To his shiny
Oh.
sword. Yes.
All this shit is happening, and he's baffled by the
He
sword.
holds the sword and in one hand, and with another hand kind of outstretched in front of him, he turns and points the sword towards entrances, openings, anywhere that an ambush can be laid from. And he says, "Best move quiet, mouse boy."
Good idea. Yeah, I will stealthily move into the village and make my way to where Arta is, or where she was last seen by me.
Oren pulls back the purple banner, which covers the door, okay, and quickly slides in, sword first, as though to penetrate whatever's there, and continues to walk forward to the center of the Droktha, turning and spinning as Fievel Mousentrouve. I'm assuming you follow.
Yep.
On the table where Arda was, there is Arda.
She's
That
still
could have
there.
been worded better, but it's fine. She is there. She has not been taken. She seems to be coming in and out of consciousness. She goes silent for a few seconds, then wakes and says, "Help, help," and then she falls back into unconsciousness. Oren looks around and says, "Tend to her, quick."
Help her.
Lift me.
So Oren lifts up the mouse folk, who then looks over top of Arda. She looks a little bit better. Some of the bones setting in the casts that were created, they're more so just wooden splints, to be honest, like two strong branches then tied together with string, twine, and ropes in order to set the bones back to where they were. As she wakes again and looks into your eyes, she says, "Oh, Fievel, I couldn't stop them."
I put my little mouse finger on her mouth and say, "Shh."
Jesus.
So creepy. And then I'm going to cast Cure Wounds immediately.
Okay, nice. Roll me a d8.
D8 coming your way. That is an 8.
Oh, wow.
So 8 plus your spellcasting modifier is added to Arda's health.
Plus 3. So 11.
Okay. From behind, footsteps approach, and Oren stealthily walks across the mud ground, making nary a sound.
Does he just drop me?
Well, I mean, he sets you down if you like.
Or he could hold on to me and throw me at him.
Jesus. No, so he sets you down. Then he walks over stealthily to right beside the entranceway. He holds his sword poised, ready to jab whoever comes in to stab them. The purple banner is pushed back, and 2 small lizardfolk children walk through.
Kill them.
Okay, Orin begins to make for the strike, but then he stops as they both look and they gasp, and then they run over to Arda's side and say, "We tried to stop them, we tried."
Not hard enough.
She says, it's okay, children, it's okay. You're safe now. She looks to Fievel and says, "It's far worse than we thought."
What? Explain.
Our people, they were taken.
By...
Okay. I couldn't see. I was fading in and out of consciousness. And then she looks to the 2 small lizardfolk children. It's Root who speaks first. Root looks and says, "They were snakes, but they were people."
Sandy Hagwins.
They're back.
Jesus, get the hell out of here.
This won't make sense to any of the listeners unless they know. The very first, I think, big encounter that these players ever had in their D&D careers was against San Hagwins. They became known as Sandy Hagwins to the group. They actually killed a fair amount of their men, and they downed you guys a couple times. Okay, so the small lizardfolk male, Root, says it was snake-like people taking them away.
I turn to Orin and ask if any of that description means anything to him.
So he looks for a second, he says, "Snake-like? Well, I've never seen anything like it, but of course there are the legends. You know, I've seen more of Norian than most, and lived to tell the tale. If he is talking about snake-like people, he's probably talking about Yuan-Ti."
Do you mind telling me a little bit more about Yuan-Ti?
He says, "At a later time, my friend, we're dangerously outnumbered if we stay here. The Draktha could be a defensible position, but we need more men. I need my knights, and you need your friends."
This is true.
We're friends now, eh?
Yeah, I didn't even get to introduce myself.
He thinks you guys are friends.
Oh, wow. How mistaken he is.
Yeah, stupid Orin. No, I'm just kidding. He looks to you and says, I can defend the girl and the children. You have to head out, though. You know your way through the mangroves, and I do not."
Okay, and you want me to go get your men?
He says, "Yes. Tell them that the knights call upon them.
Okay.
They'll know what it means."
I ask him to lift me to to my lady.
So he pulls over a stone stool,
Oh.
which sits at one of the tables. It was not knocked over. So he pulls it over. He's going to make a strength check. They're pretty heavy. With a 10 plus 3, he makes it.
I assist.
And he pulls... yeah, you're not helpful. You're nice. And he pulls the stone stool over. Quickly, though. You need to go.
I grab my lady's hand and I just kiss her on the hand and say, I will return.
So she kind of flutters in and out of consciousness, but she does catch it and she says, "Be careful."
She wasn't even conscious and you kissed her, Justin. That's some Harvey Weinstein shit. See, we can make current references.
Yeah. Okay, Bill Cosby. No, I'm just kidding. Orin puts his hand on your shoulder and he says, "Come on, lad. Time to go."
Okay, I hop down from the stone stool there and I head towards Jack Bauer.
You head out towards Jack Bauer. You can't help but feel like there are eyes on you at all times. Perhaps lizard folk who escaped and are watching and waiting, or perhaps something more sinister. Regardless, you mount your steed and head back through the mangroves towards the Bullywood camp.
Yep. So we do so at a fast pace.
Excellent. So it takes you a little bit shorter. We're going to go 35 minutes on this one. You're hustling as you head back towards the camp. The two knights are sharpening their swords. Their helms are off. The younger one, Luth, as he likes to be called, is of the same complexion as Orin. He's got that olive-toned skin, a little bit longer, black hair, and bright blue eyes. As you approach, he stands quickly and gets his sword ready, but the other knight who still remains seated kind of taps his sword down with his own and puts it to the ground and he says, "Don't be so fucking jumpy." Okay? That's Lothian who's speaking. Lothian is very, very pale-skinned. You know, some would call him a soulless ginger. Just kidding. He's not ginger. He has black hair, raven black hair, and his eyes are a very dark color. Most likely, kind of like a dark hazel, a little bit of green in there, and he's quite slender, but nonetheless tall.
Slender
his
man.
hair is flowing and long. So, Luth puts his sword down and says, "Sorry, our hero Fievel Mousentrouve approaches upon Jack Bauer." He looks to the group, kind of, the toad kind of like slipping to the side. That way it's kind of, like when a horse pulls up and it kind of pulls sideways and then he like turns his head to talk to his companions. You kind of do that. And you look to your companions and you say,
"Let's go, get up. The knights call upon you. We need to rush back to the village quick."
So, Luth acts very quickly. He sheaths his sword right away, begins to grab his pack, grabs his helm, and runs towards his horse. Lothian takes a little bit more time, and he says, "So, Orin sent for us."
"Yes, we have to go now. I'll explain on the way."
"I figured you would." Now we turn over to Tyson McKay and Rogar Ragnak, who has just heard the news that you guys are up and going. What would you guys like to do?
I grab my equipment and start sprinting over.
What's happened?
We have to go. There's no time to explain.
Oh my god. There's some time, obviously.
Well, there's been an attack. That's all I can say. We have to go now. My friends are in trouble.
Okay.
Yeah, I sprint over.
Can we ride your toad?
The toad is going to be hard, but he's a huge creature. 2 of you can comfortably fit on him.
Hey.
And 1 of you can fit on the back of one of the horses.
I asked Jack Bauer if he will let one of these other randoms mount him.
So he kind of turns to look at you as you're mounted on him. You kind of see the corner of one of his eyes. He blinks like a very long blink and then like turns to look away from you. It seems like kind of like a passive yes.
All right, well, first one aboard gets to ride the toad.
Yeah, I'll ride the horse.
Okay, I hop on Jack Bauer.
I point to Fireman and I say, "Hop on."
Thank you, Mouse Man.
Go, Fireman, go.
Oh, can we call you Bright Man? And then Mouse Man and Fireman.
There we go.
We're superheroes.
So, you guys hop on your mounts and head back towards the Lizardfolk village. The journey is a little bit longer. You got more people. Plus, the horses aren't really used to walking through mangroves, which often have these very large pits or little tiny holes of muck, right, that go all the way almost to their knees at some point. So they're kind of making their way through the mangroves. Jack Bauer, again, trying to squeeze that fat ass through those trees. And you guys make it to the Lizardfolk village. You lead them towards the Droktha. They dismount their horses, tie them off to a post outside. Jack Bauer, as you dismount, kind of looks at you lazily, slurps his tongue, and waits for your command.
I tell him, "If you want to eat, you can, but stay around us. I might need you."
There's that long blink again, and then he walks away, trudging through the mud. He seems quite happy here. It's pretty home-like for him. The larger parts, at least, of the mangrove, where it's easy for him to walk. Mm-hmm. You guys head into the Droktha for our Bright Lord and our Planeswalker. You guys haven't really seen the Lizardfolk town. These are ancient temple ruins, bits of gray stone which stand out of the mud, sometimes on odd angles, moss and vines growing all over them. The trees aren't as thick here, so some sunlight does come through, but it's a fairly overcast day. The village looks like it could house probably in and around 60 people, or lizardfolk, I should say.
Fancy.
And it looks like crumbling ruins. Most of the doorways are open concept, but they have these banners, maybe indicating family heritage, maybe just whatever scraps they could find, which cover the entrances and exits. There are windows as well. Looks like they were made at a later time, a little bit less intricate stonework. And you guys head towards the Droktha, that very large building.
Yes.
Okay.
So, upon entering, pushing that purple banner with the gold filigree aside, you find Orin. He looks to you from the center and he says, "Saw you from the window."
Cool story, bro.
Well, he just wanted to let you know that the reason why he wasn't ready to pounce on you is because he saw you coming.
Oh, okay. I got it. I thought he was just
Yeah.
Captain Obviousing us.
So, Lothian and Luth approach Orin, and Luth says, "What happened?" And Lothian looks to him and says, "What are we dealing with, boss?" So Orin looks to the others and he says, "I believe we're dealing with Yuan-Ti." Arda kind of picks up from her unconsciousness and she says, "The Yuan-Ti are gone, extinct, over 1,000 years ago." And then Orin looks to her and says, "Well, if they were extinct, someone forgot to tell this clan."
Ha, I tell him to fill us in, because I've never heard of these Yanti before.
Yanti, he says, as he sits. Fievel kinda, I'm assuming, standing on that stone stool and taking care of his beloved, as he so calls her.
Of course.
Everyone else kinda making themselves comfortable. He says, Yanti, a humanoid empire from a forgotten age. Before the Second Age, when men, elves, and dwarves ruled Norien. And before, and the beginnings of the First Age, the Yanti had massive land holdings, all throughout Norien. They are a hybrid humanoid species, snake and human combined. They are treacherous, and should not be taken lightly. They take prisoners, and use them in dark rituals to attain greater power with their gods. Forgive me, I am not familiar with the particulars. I ran across a traveler once, who claimed there were Yanti still in the world. Of course, this was just drunken bar talk, and I thought nothing of it. But it appears this drunken swine was right. As far as their society, I know very little. If we want to learn more information, I don't know where to go.
I'm gonna go outside and start looking for clues.
Okay, very good.
Attaboy.
So, our Bright Lord heads outside and begins to look for clues. Do you tell anyone, or do you just kind of walk out?
Just pieces out.
I'm gonna tell them. I'm gonna tell them that I'm gonna look outside and see if there's any footprints or not footprints. Well, they're snake like people, right?
Correct.
Okay, yeah. Then I'll look for like footprints or like maybe some skin that they shed off or something, just to track them down.
Yeah, for sure. Orin looks to you and says, "Hold up, Slick. You're gonna want to pair up. If you're alone and they take you out, no one will hear you scream."
Oh boy. I guess I'll take one of the knights with me.
I'll go with you.
Or yeah, I'll take Tyson with me.
You're safer with me, trust me.
So Tyson and the Bright Lord are teamed up. Fievel, are you staying here, or are you...
Yeah, I'll stay.
Okay, so Orin says, "I'll stay with Fievel. No one should be on their own." And then Luth and Lothian are a team as well.
Okay.
You guys head through the houses, looking for clues. Which stone structure would you like to take first? There is a bunch of smaller stone huts, for lack of a better word. One that's kind of larger, right beside the Drochtha, but it's still a house. It looks to be like a dwelling, not so much like a storeroom or anything else. There are...
Wait, is there one on the edge of the town, basically?
Not so much. I wouldn't say. They're actually pretty clustered.
Okay.
The lizard folk are used to being attacked by bullywugs and other types of creatures from the swamp. They don't really have... They've learned their lesson from having outlying settlements.
I don't know, we could check out the small houses first, clean them quick.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, we'll pick one of the smaller houses then first.
Okay, there are 3 smaller houses to the left of the Drochtha. Going through these, and I'm going to fast forward because going through them is pretty easy, there certainly looks like there were signs of struggles. Stone tables, chairs overturned. A small doll lies on the ground in the mud in one of the houses. And aside from what are you gonna do with a small child's doll?
You know what? I kept love notes last time. It's just they're nice collectibles, you know.
Okay, well, it's not a fucking Easter egg. Okay, it's, you're not there either. So, looking through these are very clearly just common lizard folk houses. There are small fire pits with small makeshift chimneys above them. Some of the tin and metal plates and bowls, some of them stone, overturned, fire stomped out. There is not much of anything to really take here. The lizard folk aren't really possession people. They don't really keep a lot of stuff.
Okay.
So you exit, and it looks like Lothian and Luth have headed to the other far side. There are 8 more houses to the right of the Drochtha in this small, almost sickle-shaped or hook-shaped settlement, with the Drochtha being at the very, the 90-degree point, the turn. Mm-hmm. There's still that very large house right beside the Drochtha, and then there's more houses that continue along. What would you like to do?
Can we perception check along the woods to see if there's any signs of coming in or coming out?
You mean like people, or you mean routes?
I guess like routes where people would be coming in or out.
It appears that the largest one would be right at so those houses kind of follow along at either end. One of them to the east, and then one of them to the south. So you've got the Drochtha, 8 houses. Along that kind of walkway, that's one of the very large roadways out, or at least paths, And by large, I mean, a few feet across. Then the other one is if you were to come out of the Droktha, head right along those 3 other houses, that seems to be the other main route out.
Can I do a survival check for any distinctly interesting footprints, like something out of the ordinary?
For sure. Roll me a d20.
11.
The footprints appear mostly humanoid and lizard folk.
Okay.
There are a few slither-like tracks, which just looks like a large snake sidewinding through the mud.
Okay.
That appears to be the most unique.
Can I try and see if it's going in or out of the village?
Roll me a d20.
Oh boy, that's a 23.
Nice. You follow it, and it heads out of the village. And then something catches your eye. You look to your right, and you see a very large footprint, claw-like and heavy. It looks to be almost 2.5 feet in length, and it looks like it would just be the footprint of a very large lizard folk, like a huge reptile.
Oh boy.
Rogar, I found something.
I head over.
Have you ever seen anything like this before?
Only in my dreams.
Sound like nightmares.
No, I've never seen footprints this big.
You find the large footprint. You see Lothian and Luth working their way towards the Droktha. They're on the 4th house now. What would you like to do?
Are there any more houses on where we are?
No, there's no more houses on the left. There's just the large house to the right of the Droktha, and then 1, 2, 3 more houses to the right of that haven't been checked yet.
You go check those.
Yeah, okay. Can I grab a stick and mark the spot?
Yeah, smart move. Okay, so you mark the spot with a stick, and then you head towards those other houses.
Yeah.
Which one would you like to search first?
Probably the 3 ones that you said that were left, like on the beside the Droktha.
So the 3 small ones?
Yeah, or 3 small ones, was it?
Yeah. I'm gonna pull
there's
out my
3 small
weapon,
ones
by the
and
way.
1 large one.
Okay. And Rogar just said he's gonna pull out his...
My spear.
Yeah.
Excellent. All right, so you pull out your spear, prepared. Which house are you entering?
Furthest to the left.
Yeah.
Okay, so the large one beside the Droktha.
Yeah.
Okay, you pull aside another purple banner, and there's a fairly large residence here. Looks to be the residence of perhaps a leader, perhaps the mayor. If Lizardfolk had a mayor, that would be his residence. There's a very large fire pit in the center of the room, and smoke would presumably billow out of the channel, the hole, in the center of the ceiling. There is a bed. It's been pulled apart in the corner. It's just stone with furs and bedding on top of it, but that's all been pulled apart. There's a chest that's in the corner that's also been opened and rifled through. There's a bit of blood that you can see on the kind of the ring of stones that make up this hearth fireplace in the center, and not much else. What would you like to do?
Can I perception check the chest to see if there's anything left over?
Yes, you can. But I don't need you to roll because you walk up and there's nothing inside.
Okay.
It's all been taken.
Alrighty then.
Fuck.
I wanted to see.
Does that trail of blood go anywhere, or is it just like some blood splattered?
No, it appears to be a handprint. A claw print, really, if you think about it, because it's lizard folk. And it claws as though it grabbed towards the fireplace and pulled down, maybe slipping down after it was hit. The coals are still warm and smoking slightly.
I perception check the fireplace to see if there's anything there he might be grabbing for.
Roll me a d20.
6.
So you look, you can't really see anything as far as things hidden near the fireplace, but you do see 2 knee impressions in the ground, as though someone was kneeling beside it, over top of it.
I feel like there's like a trap door or something.
Yeah, that's what I think too.
Check it out.
Yeah, can I do a perception check just for like like a switch or a lever or something?
Sure, roll me a d20.
17?
Okay, so you don't find a switch or a lever, but as you look on the inside of the fireplace, you see beneath the ashes some stone, which looks kind of high for where the bottom of the fire pit looks to be. It looks a little bit out of place.
I go over and investigate that stone.
Okay, so you brushing coals aside, or you
I'll
just
do it.
sticking your hand in, or
I'll
yeah,
brush
nice,
the
good
coals.
call.
Yeah. Fireman.
So
here.
Tyson McKay takes no damage. Fireman brushes the coals aside, and there is a tablet at the bottom of the fireplace. Black soot covers it, but it's clearly etched and engraved, and it looks to be actually intact. As you, I'm assuming, pull it out.
I do.
As you pull it out, you notice that there is a circle cut out from the stone at the top of this, which you now know to be a bad time to forget words. A stele. which is just a relief carving stone, sometimes used as markers, grave markers, or other important tablature. At the top of it, with that small cylindrical circle, that hole cut out of it, there is a gem which has been placed in the center. If Fievel were here, he would know that he'd seen it before in the hands of Ozode, Arda's grandfather, the leader of the Lizardfolk.
Not Ochode.
I say this is probably nothing important then. No leader probably lived here.
Yeah, just break it apart. There is the gem is topaz in color, so kind of yellowish.
Is there any like writing on it?
You brush away some of the soot and dust, and there does appear to be not writing, but a drawing in relief. There is a lizard folk who looks like he is bare-chested, but he has kind of like a tunic around his waist. He holds in one hand a very large spear, and in the other hand, holding it above his head, is something that looks strangely like the tablet that you're holding. In the corner of the top of the tablet, sun shines down, or rays of light, you're presuming, shine down towards the tablet, and out of the top of the tablet, a line is drawn. That line heads towards what looks to be a pyramid, or a temple structure, so that's all been carved out onto the stone.
Whoa.
He's kind of in the bottom left corner, and off in the distance, kind of obviously scaled a little bit smaller to display obviously the distance between them, is that temple pyramid.
So Noah, let me get this straight.
Yes.
You're saying that the lizards built the pyramid?
Yes, it was actually the Draconians the whole time.
Oh my
God. That's an archaeologist speaking, so you know that I only speak the truth when it comes to archaeology. No human beings could have built the pyramids, people. Wake up. It was
Sheeple.
Draconians. They are inside our governments, they are inside our news organizations, and they're assimilating. They're taking us into their ships, they're changing us into Draconians. It's a whole theory I have. You can check more of it out on the D&D Norian website. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh boy. Alright, cool. So it's pointing towards pyramids. That's a good clue.
So it's a good hint, yeah.
Or it's
Okay.
nothing. One or the other.
Or it's nothing, and just junk, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I usually just describe junk pretty deeply and with a lot of detail.
Okay, so I tucked that into my loincloth, and and I say, I think that's everything here, Mr. Brightlord.
Yes, Mr. Firelord.
Jeez, it's so formal.
I
Okay,
guess
so
that out. Checking it out.
Lothian and Luth walk by and look inside the large room that you're in. They say, "Find anything interesting?"
No.
Okay, roll me a deception check. You have a very large tablet with a gem in your hand.
18 plus 5.
Okay, they see your check
23.
and they meet it.
23.
Oh, shit, never mind. They try and insight you. They don't succeed, but they do see the tablet in your hand, so they say, "What's that?"
I don't really know. I was going to take it back to Orion and see if he knew anything about it.
So he looks at you and says, "Good idea. We didn't find anything else in any of the houses."
What good are you?
Well, there wasn't much to fucking find, Lothian says to you.
Oh boy. Are we going to dance?
Okay, so Luth says, "Come on, let's go." And he heads towards the Droktha.
Okay, Luke.
Okay, so you guys enter the Droktha, and Arda is propping herself up on her one arm that is not shattered. She looks to you and says, "My grandfather's tablet. You found it."
Yes, I did. And I flex.
Okay, a classic Tyson McKay move.
I'm slightly triggered right now.
Are you triggered? You
Yes.
want to maybe just jump on his back and stab him with your trident?
I'm ready. Yeah. You know what? Let's
Okay.
pull out the trident.
Whoa,
I mean,
whoa.
I'll let you do it, but I just know that I don't agree with this.
You know what? Let me call Jack Bauer.
I love how that's as much as a DM can do, or at least as much as a DM should do. These DMs who like make players do anything, it's complete and utter bullshit.
Yeah.
You know, as a DM, you can just say, "Hey, stop it!" As the players are just murdering each other. I don't agree with this. You're each getting timeouts.
I say,
So-
who is your grandfather?
She said, "Ozode. He was the leader of our people. I was to be his heir."
Do you know where he went?
No, I fear he was taken by the Yonti.
Well, I assume that was his house we were in then.
Yes, the large one beside the Droktha, that is his.
Well, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but we found blood near the tablet. It doesn't look
So, her face falls, but then her face shows resolve as she looks forward and says, "We will rescue them. We have to.
I like this one.
Ooh, a little bit of rivalry between the fireman and Fievel.
It's the triangle of love.
All right, listeners, call in with your ideas. Who do you think Arda should choose? Fievel, Mousentrouve, or Fireman? We'll be taking all of your suggestions on Twitter, on our page, and on all the comments on Podbean. So feel free to comment. Who do you think Arda should choose? I say we leave it up to the players, to the listeners, I should say.
No, players.
Yeah, or players, either one. It's fine. She looks to you and says, as she nods, "I need to rest, but I'll be well again soon." And Orin looks to Fievel and says, "You have any more of those fancy spells?"
For who?
Well, for the girl, obviously.
Yes, I do have a couple more up my sleeve.
Can they heal broken bones?
That's out of my caliber.
Well then, we'll need to wait, unless we wish to go forth without her.
Down.
Regardless, we need our rest. Nightfall is coming, and I suggest we all take watch. A fire is lit in the middle of the Droktha, smoke kind of coming from it. All the men seem to kind of position themselves seated, not directly in front of the windows of the Droktha, because that would obviously just be a sniper's delight. But they all take turns in shifts, watching and stepping outside in teams of 2, making sure they don't hear anything coming in. And Arda speaks on the stories her grandfather used to tell. Arda speaks as the flames kind of die down and crackle. The Yuan-Ti were one of the original human civilizations. Their society built great temples of stone and forged metal into armor, tools, and weapons. In their ceremonies, it is said they paid homage to the snake as the embodiment of the qualities they most appreciated. They developed a philosophy of separating emotion from intellectual pursuits, allowing them to focus their energy on personal advancement and expanding their territory. They believed themselves to be the most enlightened mortals in the world, and in their hubris, they sought to become even greater. It is said the serpent gods of the primordial world heeded their prayers and hissed dark commands to their ears. Their people tainted their souls by performing human sacrifices in the name of their gods, debased their flesh by cannibalizing their victims, and then performed sorcerous rituals while writhing in pools filled with living snakes that enabled them to mix their flesh with that of serpents, becoming like the gods in body, thought, and emotion. Freed from the limitations of their human bodies, they used their abilities to conquer new lands and expand their borders. But it was over 1,000 years ago the Yuan-Ti disappeared. Their last civilizations in the south went quiet, and no one heard of them since. They controlled most of Norian a long time ago, but it is said that they died out. Some said they were waiting for a time when the world of Norian was weak to strike again. I fear the worst, my friends, for our loved ones who were taken from us. Orin kind of takes his
Oh my god,
cup.
Our loved ones. What happened to the slaves?
Yeah, the slaves are gone, man. All your entire village is gone. I thought you would be more upset about this, but I think you just realized now.
I did. I did just realize. I've had a lot going on, okay?
Orin raises his glass, his tin cup filled with some ale, and nods his head, bowing it forward to the mention of loved ones lost. She says, "Not much is known of their civilization, except that it is cruel, heartless, and caste-based. The abominations and anathemas are at the top of the chain. Powerful demi-serpents that have embodied their forms with powerful traits of the snakes they so wish to emulate. There are the Malicins, imperfected compared to abominations, but still a step above the humankind in the eyes of the serpent gods. And then the purebloods, most human-like, only exhibiting 1 or 2 snake-like features. They can pass for human, and they function as infiltrators, taking down entire governments, cities, and towns. I fear the worst, my friends, but together, I know we can take on this challenge. Each of my players, you all gain 500 experience points for, first of all, escaping your chains and bonds.
Nice.
Okay.
Again.
And also, so that's 250. And then taking on the quest line are Lost People, for which you gain 250 experience points.
Holy, that's a level up.
Woo!
I think I'm at level up too then.
Nice level up.
I'm dancing right now, podcast listeners.
Now watch me whip. So,
Sure.
we have a level up in the house. Congratulations to Tyson McKay. Good stuff there.
I think I
Really,
level up
really
as
cool.
well.
Ooh, Brightlord level up too. That's 2 level ups in a game. Awesome stuff. So, ladies and gentlemen, to recap, freed from the chains of the bullywugs. Let them go with all their gold. Still a decision I don't know about. I mean, it's up to you guys, but, you know, if your boy was playing, you best believes those frogs would be penniless right now.
They
moving
might be.
on,
We took down where they went, and we will find
fair.
them.
Yeah, a later
Torment
date.
them.
Yeah, we're not down to do it today, but sometime.
No, today.
And they met with some Knights of the New Moon, some emissaries from Ryberry. Moving on, they headed to the Lizardfolk encampment, where they discovered that many prisoners were taken there as well, as was happening in Ryberry, and our friends Orin and Arda shed some light on who they believe to be the culprits, the Yuan-Ti, an emotionless serpent humanoid race. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for listening. As always, I'm your DM, joined by our players Fievel, Mousentrouve, Tyson McKay, and of course our Bright Lord, Rogar Ragnak.
Please say it right.
Take care. Have a fantastic morning, evening, or night. And we look forward to seeing you next time on the Dicey D20.
Firemen out.
Hey, what's up, Dicey D20 fans? Next week we're going to be doing something a little different. Since this is our mid-season episode, we're going to be looking a little behind the scenes of Dicey D20 and talking about what's happened so far in the season. Hope you guys enjoy. See you next week.